up, gang? Good morning. Um, I think also is very important to mahalo all of you for sharing this time. It's not, no matter what age you are, it's not easy getting up and getting motivated and coming down. So mahalo. And Frankie, come here. This is my nugget. What do you want to tell everybody?
Thank you for coming.
There you go. Let's get going here. Oh, what is this? Roots. When I was trying to put this together, I was trying to figure out how do you share about roots, right? When we do presentations, a lot of times it could be chronological. You go through your whole resume, what you've done, what you've accomplished, and I thought that was kind of bullshit on my end because so much of what has built me has not that much to do with my resume, but has more to do with all of you, the community. And I think that as all of us progress and grow, we realize that our strength truly comes from within, right? Where we live, who we are, where we stay. So this is my family. This is my gorgeous wife. This is Amanda. We actually have 2 kids, and thanks Noah, but Noah cut off our oldest daughter here, but that's all right because I sent Noah my slides like 3 hours late. Family is everything. That's my mother over there, and we recently lost her. But this is a great representation of us and our roots. Our extended family, which is part of my wife's company. They are the ones that make this all go. There's actually fine print at the bottom of our application process. It says must be good with kids. So that's my mom. So my mother never told us, don't do anything. She encouraged it all. Little known fact, I was actually one of the youngest DJs in the Honolulu circuit way back in the day. And she somehow tolerated those gigantic speakers and 2 turntables and a microphone. That's me. Roots. When I was growing up, I always wanted to hula. My father always said, no, you cannot. He said, only mahu dance. You cannot dance. I'm like, oh yeah, we'll see about that. Life, as it happened, turned out that it sent me to Hilo. And here in Hilo, I found a very small halau kekuhi, and I dedicated my life to that for almost a decade. It was the first time in my life that I ever dedicated myself to anything other than myself. Prior to hula, I think I was pretty selfish, and all I kind of cared about was myself. And I realized that giving yourself to something greater than yourself elevates yourself. And somehow I started to think about my mother, who gave everything of herself for us. And I started to realize that roots meant more than anything. This is Nalani Kanakole. If any of you know Sigan Smith in Kuhao, this is Kuhao's mother. This was a wonderful night that I was wasted, and I actually dropped $1,000 on those goddamn shorts. If you talk to my wife, we just started dating. She's like, you are so lucky we were not married. But I do credit her and her family with very much of who I am. During that time, I also spent a lot of time in Waipio Valley. Actually, I lived in Waipio for about a year. And that's where I started to develop this understanding of Aina and the importance of it. Here in Halau Kekuhi, because you need to be able to pack up your things and disappear for 2 weeks at a time, most of us have multiple jobs. We are teachers, we are, all kinds of stuff, librarians. For myself, I worked at Mehana Brewing Company, and I also worked at the National Park Service. And that's when I kind of started to realize that what was most important to me was staying outside, and that's what I wanted to sort of architect my life. And that was a narrative that I kind of wanted to go ahead. I dabbled in fire, as you can see, but being a fireman didn't quite work out, so on we go. But it always came back to being outdoors, and always came back to food. I was somehow, yes, my mother raised me, but somehow I was always the guy that got called to help out for luau's and things like that. And that's sort of definitely, I think, even though I didn't realize at the time, that was a very strong reinforcement. I love this picture. This is actually 3 generations of hands that are wrapping an entire sheep that's about to go into the imu. For myself, it's always a very good visual reference as we raise our kids, and bringing them around everywhere. So these next 2 pictures are pretty pivotal. This was the day that This guy on the right, wearing the staff shirt, Kinohi Gomes, said, "You ever thought of being a chef?" So here we go, packing up. You travel, 2 months at a time, sometimes 3 weeks, and you're gone. And one of the things that I did was helped out my brother on the far right with selling T-shirts. And this is in the 90s, where silk screening shirts had really, in native wear, native indigenous inspired sort of textiles start to come about. And at KCC one day, Kinohi asked me, "How you doing?" He's like, "Hey, where you been?" I said, "Oh, I've been touring." He said, "So what's next?" And that's when I told him, I said, "Kinohi, something tells me that hula might not be life." And I remembered that, remember now, I gave up a decade of my life for hula. And all of a sudden, to realize that that might not be your path, it felt like I was telling somebody that I was cheating on my loved one. He doesn't even pause. He's like, "Hey, you ever thought about being a chef?" And I was like, "No." He's like, "KCC has a culinary school." I'm like, "Bro, only dorks go to cooking school. I'm in the water." He's like, "No, you should think about it." And so I thought about it, met the counselor, took the application home, and at the very least, I said, "Yeah, why not?" Because I'll go to KCC, get a degree, go back home, and at the end of the day, I'll just be a better cooker. This is luau stew. This is probably one of the only food pictures that you'll see. But luau to me, I remember that I can close my eyes and I remember the night that I learned about luau stew. And it was a late night where we were starting to learn how to make our kupe'e, which is a type of fillet made with shells. And Kika Nohara, my alaka'i, was like, "Hey, Gooch, I made luau, go eat." And I can tell you, I can still reach. I can open up the crock pot. I can smell the luau. I can close my eyes. I can hear Wailuku River. To me, it is everything that connects me. And through food, opened up Hey Pier, and then I was very fortunate enough to meet a woman who hired me to cater for her. And then when I first asked her out, she said no. And me being ever so persistent, I said, "Well, we'll see about that." But this is Amanda. We together, one of the things that works for us is that we have the same values. This was when we first started our company, Pili Group. This was one of our first big events. And right before it started, she goes, "Hey, I gotta tell you something. Come." So I'm following her to the bathroom, and in my head, I'm a guy. I'm thinking, "Oh, quickie, before an event." So she goes in. She goes, "Okay, wait," and she closes the door. And I'm like, "Ooh, all right." And she opens the door, and she goes like this. She goes, "Okay." She goes like this, "Don't freak out." And it's like this. I'm like, we're gonna be parents? And I'm still getting a little verklempt. And she's like, "Yeah, you can't tell anybody." So this picture for me, our first big event, and we found out that we were going to be parents. And as we progressed through our company, I still kept having this longing that what I really wanted to do was to be back outside. But being a chef, what do chefs do? You open up a restaurant. What do we need to do to become more successful, or the definition of successful? You need to open up more restaurants. And the busier we got and the bigger we got, I started to feel more detached. But then there were these moments like this, This is my cooking. Someone said we couldn't fry fish in a malo. I said, "We'll see about that." There are these moments that ground you, that bring you back, that sort of help to remind you of what's important. This is my brother Kealoho. We recently lost him to an accident, but those are those moments that you forever remember. And one thing that we also said was we were going to raise our children together. Yeah, that's her. And we do that. We take our kids everywhere. These are on Saturdays where I'd fill up the first sink, and you throw in a couple squeeze bottles, a mixing bowl, and a whisk, and your kids are good all day. Strap them on and rock and roll. Actually, that is this one, I think. That was at Mission. This is, my wife and I, we teach together. This is a demonstration doing pa'iai. And like as you can see, we just strap them on and we rock and roll. And as hard as it is, and trust me, it's hard. It's hard taking this path. as much as it is, I think that what the guiding light is that both of us believe that it is good for our kids, it's good for our community. So, as you can, and they go everywhere, and we're real fortunate for that. One thing that I wanted to do is as we got busier, as people started to ask us, how do we do what we do? I wanted to create meaning and find a way to share this stoke with as many people as possible. So what I started doing, it started off as an industry work day on a Monday, because most of us as chefs and restaurant people were off on Mondays. And we would organize a work day. And one Monday every other month, we would shut down operations, take our guys to a farm, and we spend the day out there. It got bigger, and now then I kind of moved it and decided, why not do that on a birthday? Because to get people that might not want to get hot and sweaty, if you attach the word birthday to it, it creates a more compelling story to come out and work. So here we are. This is one of our annual birthday work days. This month, we roll into our 10th year of that, so I'm pretty stoked. And also, our company is about 85% women. For one, I'm a very big proponent that women make better chefs than us men. Actually, I think you women do most things better than we do, but that's another story. And we're real proud. And we get to sort of encourage our women, what my mother always said, right? Whatever you want to do. I have a pretty good amount of mothers now that will email me, say that they love to work, they love to cook. Can I volunteer with your company? And of course I say, sure. I got a newborn. I'm like, strap them on, come on down. That was my mom's. Big catalyst for me was, mind you, all the restaurants were still going prior to this picture. And one day we got the news. My mom called me up. She goes, I got to tell you something. And she said, I got cancer. And it's pancreatic. And it's not going to go away. And so doctors gave us 8 weeks. And thankfully, and by this time, my wife, Amanda, and I have a pretty good discussion about what we want to do. And I said, I don't want to miss any more time. I said, but we have 3 fucking restaurants and a catering company, 2 kids. I'm like, and she goes, we had been speaking at Puno. So she goes, babe, what about Puno? I'm like, I never thought about that. She goes, why don't you email them? So I said, okay. So I emailed Puno. And the principal goes, oh, I've been waiting for you. So we have a meeting. And it turns out to be like, what do you want me to do? And Punoho goes, you can do whatever you want to do with food. I'm like, oh, okay. So I started to think like the narrative of like, how can we get children to understand the value of where we come from through the vessel of food, through something non-traditional, and how can we do it outdoors? And that sort of started this path. We decided very quickly that we're going to close our restaurants, and as scary as it was the best decision of our lives. Here we are a year and a half later. This is actually my first day at work. I parked and I got a double rainbow. So I thought to myself, well, this choice can't be that bad. And so what we do now is that we try to build connections. On, it's so easy for us to say, lucky we live Hawaii, and and be proud of being from the 808. But it's another thing, I think, to truly understand it, embody it, and live it. And we do it through food. I work K through 12 with students and teachers, incorporating elements of food and Aina-based living within their own respective classes. This is one I wanted to create a way for kids to be able to get around ulu. And so that previous picture was this MacGyvered toilet plunger to hold the ulu, to be able to cut it down. And there you go. That's what the plunger is. So when you see a Tacoma going down a road with a plunger at the back, that's me. Even simple things like learning how to make lau lau. This is my advisory. It's like 15 kids that I'll be with until they graduate, and none of them have tailgated. In today's day and age, nobody knew what tailgating meant. So I said, okay, last day of class, we're going to tailgate. Getting to kids, all the things, if you remember from the pictures behind from Waipio Valley, things that as a life experience you get to apply now. Invasive species. What better way to get rid of an invasive species like the ape than to learn how to eat it well? This was taken at the end of summer. The kids were getting ready. A bunch of my students said that they were going to go camping. They wanted to know what to cook. I said, do you guys know how to fry fish? They're like, no. Do you know how to clean fish? No. I said, well, shit, you're going to learn today then. And so that was the last class of the semester, was how to fry fish. You know, and hey, giving young children the ability to experience other chefs, that's a great perk too. Is like, you know, utilizing my network to bring them into, you know, into schools. As chefs, majority of us really want to give back, but we have such little time that I think that finding, for myself to be able to do what I do and share that experience and have the ability to invite, you know, other of my colleagues here is very empowering. And I'd like to think that it provides us a way to create a little happy space in the 14 to 16 hours that we work every day. And the last slide is I wanted to tell you is don't take life too seriously. Does that work? Does that actually play, or is that a? No? Ah, that's all right then. Shucks, you couldn't see what happened afterwards. Point being, don't take life too seriously. And that's my roots. That's where I come from. That is who I am. Even though I know about maybe a little over a third of you, all of you have contributed to making me who I am. I have seen a lot of you on social media. I get to know a lot of you through the circles that we run in. And, you know, my community inspires me to be a better person. I hope that our kids learn that too. So, with that, thanks for listening. Well, you know, I tend to call myself a cook because for myself, I think in today's world of culinary arts, we are inundated with the fact that you're going to be a chef or a culinary artist. Quite frankly, I'm a carpenter. I'm a blue-collar tradesperson. Because before you become an artist, right? I'm sure Lauren, I put her on the spot too. I'm sure she knows, right? You drew stick figures, I'm sure, when you started off before you do what you do today. See? And she does amazing work. We all start somewhere. So if you boil an egg, you put it in a cup of, a cup noodle, and that empowers you to feel that, you're going to be a chef. Hey, right on. Go for it. Thank you. Yes, Spencer. I definitely have a small group of close friends that I trust as advisors. I usually use them. Part of our company, what we do now, we're cultural advisors. And what I always say when I work with potential clients is, I don't have all the answers for you. I'm not even Native Hawaiian. I'm a second-generation Japanese. I said, but I do know the people that have the answer. So if you trust me, we can guide you in the right direction. So that's one way that I keep my words. That's how I try to keep, pono or authentic with the things that I speak. And I think within, being hot and sweaty, dropping a 50-pound rock on your toe, that's really good a way to keep grounded, I think. I also listen to my na'au, I listen to my guts. I know for a fact, every time that I do not listen to my insides, it usually gets me in trouble. I also have a wonderful family that tells me to chill the fuck out. As chefs, we can be pretty egotistical, and I'll be straight. Yeah, I had that in me, I still have it in me. You just learn how to guide that, right? Ego does not necessarily have to be a negative thing. Ego can be that match that helps to light that fire. It can be the fuel that helps to keep that fire going. You just need to be able to control it and understand it.
You mentioned doing hula for like 10 years and kind of being in love with that and feeling like you're cheating on it when you left it. When people are in a place where they're making a big decision like that, what are the factors that you should consider to like be okay with making
those hard
sacrifice?
decisions?
Yeah.
You got to look within. If you trust yourself, I think that's a great gauge. I know for a fact that huge decision, I didn't consult anybody. It was something that I felt. it was a big, at that time that I made that decision, PBS had just asked to do a documentary on us. So the cut list came out, and I was on the list. And when I told Auntie Nalani that I had to, for some reason, I had to do it then, go to culinary school. And people were, Auntie Nalani and Kuha'o, and everyone's like, wait a minute, you're not doing Holo Mai Pele? I'm like, no. Why? I don't know. I gotta go. So I think look within is how you make those big decisions. I can tell you, I can share a little bit. You see all the happy stuff for me and my family. And I was just talking to Kira about it. What most people don't see are the fights, the tears, the hard decisions. And when we have, every so often we'll have a big one. And I think that what I do is I always ask myself at the end of the day, is it worth it? Is this all worth it? Is the pain worth it? The tears? The months that you run super lean and you wonder if you're going to make it? And the answer is always yes. So those are the ways that I do it. We are all entrepreneurs right here. We're all type A's. And don't forget to make time for yourself. I don't have time to go work out. I don't have time. Hey, if sitting down at the edge of Kakako Pier having a beer is your thing, make that time. You got to make that time. Because you can't take care of anybody unless you take care of yourself first.
Your personal ambition of what you want to do with your life, following your na'au, with your commitment to your family, with your status amongst your peers and your clients. Like, how do you walk that line with your partner?
Great question. When we first started Pili Group, we were so busy. And I'd come home. She'd be like, babe, I need you to sign this. I need you to sign this. I need those two. We need those menus. We're not going to get the contract. And it was just go. And finally, I'm like, I can't do this. We can't do this. This is not going to work. So early on, we learned that we had to set parameters for us. You got to set parameters. There's a time when you're a business family. This is time when you're a family. But don't forget, at the end of the day, the one constant is the family first, right? The business, you can always start a new business. You two are solid, I have no doubt that you can hold them out through that. But the family is remembering to cherish and hold family, because talking about proposals in bed does not lead to a good sex life. Let me tell you. Yes.
Hi. So from your perspective, what do you think the community in Hawaii needs more of? Specifically, for future generations, like your daughter, what do you think the community needs to focus on here?
It sounds like a cliche, but love and empathy. I think that it sounds really cliched, but we like to throw around Aloha Spirit. I think we kind of lost it. We've gotten so busy. We're all so stressed out. I think it's kind of looking back at the definition of Aloha. We're not going to go political or the houseless situation, none of that, but we could. But yeah, aloha. Just aloha, people. Just be like, I tell my kids all the time, it doesn't cost anything to be, good morning, cuz. Mandy, thank you for coming. Doesn't cost a shit. Remember growing up, remember we wave at each other on your drive? Still do that. We live in up Makiki now. I didn't grow up in Makiki. I still wave. And you notice it changes. You start to see, at first you wave and people are like, but I'm persistent. 1 year later, now I get hey! Doesn't cost nothing. Thank you.
Everyone, let's hear it again for Gooch.